Hey guys, how's it going? Sam right here, one more time. Today I wanted to talk about a post that I saw on the internet and that talks about rock bottom, and it's actually like 12 reasons why hitting rock bottom is probably the best thing that ever happened to you, and how we can use all the negativity and all the bad things that happens in our lives as fuel so we can continue and actually grow and evolve from it. So like I said, I want to use this YouTube channel as a way to tell my personal story and also help you guys out there going through flaws and issues and difficulties, because we all go through difficulties in our lives, you know. But yeah, I don't know how long this video will be, but let's start it. So again, 12 reasons why hitting rock bottom is probably the best thing that ever happened to you, and how we can heal and learn from it. So before I start, I wanted to tell about my story, because I think I hit rock bottom right now. For those of you who don't know what rock bottom is like when you reach the lowest point in your life, whether it's like financially or spiritually or emotionally or everything at once. Basically, in my opinion, in my life right now, I am really low, probably the lowest point in my life. Y'all know from the things I told you and other things too, but basically I'm really low, and it feels like you get to a certain point where you can't get out of it. Like you stay there, you get stuck in there, and there's no way out, there's no exit, there's no hope or like a light in the tunnel, and in the end of the tunnel, there's not even a tunnel, there's nothing. So we want to learn from these things. I want to learn from my experience. I want to help you guys learn from your experiences, and then we can all grow together, okay? So I'll tell you guys about it, and then I'll actually give you a little bit of my opinion on my own personal experience, okay? Before I start, let me put this hat on. Not a hat, the cap. And by the way, what do you guys prefer? Do you guys prefer the cap or without the cap? Because I think the cap's nice. Trying to change my style a little bit, you know? Yeah, let's go. So I just bought this new cap today. Looks very nice, right? I look younger than, even young. I already have like a baby face, and now with the cap, I look even younger than what I actually am. I'm sorry, but yeah, let's go. 12 topics. First one, I'm gonna read right here. I'm reading on the computer. So the first thing he talks about is like reflection and realization. I'm gonna read it for you guys. So at the bottom, you realize just how far off the course you were, and that your life choices were simply not sustainable. And it's in those dark moments of despair that your anger and frustration become so great, and you declare once and for all to never again accept such mediocrity from yourself or from others. So reflection, realization. So from my personal experience, I have let so many things happen in my life, and I actually got accommodated, you know what I'm saying? I got to the point where things were nice and I wasn't doing anything about it, and my life was actually falling off and I wasn't doing anything about it. So I was just like letting it happen naturally, you know, and not doing anything about it. And I just said things like, okay, in the future I'll take care of it, you know, things, I don't need to do this now. I don't have to fix this right now or anything, because, you know, I'm too busy with life and everything. And those things, they start to really put you on a level of despair, and like it lowers your sense of, okay, I'm going on a different path than what I'm supposed to be going, and it's really unhealthy for me, but you don't realize it because you're too busy with life and things in general and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, and by the way, guys, I'm sorry if I don't really sound as perfect as possible, because some of the things I just cannot say because this is not even my main language, but fuck it, doesn't even matter. The idea is, if you can get the idea, we can learn from it. Okay, so he says right here, you got to declare for once and for all to never again accept such mediocrity. So don't ever again accept getting to a certain level where things are unhealthy for you, and you're not doing anything about it. You're just like letting it happen. You're just letting it go every day, and it's not healthy for you. And then when you actually realize all the trauma that you've been through is already too late. Like you ate so much of that bullshit that you actually lost yourself. You ate so much of that trauma and that pain and that discomfort that when you realize you were so far away from who you are that you don't even recognize yourself anymore. So reflection and realization. So number two, seeing your dysfunctional behaviors. And this is one thing that's like, oh man, because I had so many dysfunctional behaviors so many times, and we have to look inside of ourselves before we judge people. You know, a lot of the times we're so quick to judge people and say, hey, this person did this and that, but we're not even looking in ourselves. And we have to do this so much, even if you think you're perfect, because we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Okay. So let's read it. So at the bottom, all your dysfunctional behaviors are finally revealed. All right, that's what he says. If you never hit your lowest point, the dysfunctions continues to go unnoticed and unchecked, playing out under the denier radar and inevitably creating bigger dysfunctions and a harder fall down the track. Until the bubble bursts, you cleverly delude yourself into thinking everything is just great. That's what he says. And your life ends up being built on a big fat lie and a false foundation. And this is very deep right here. So he says right here, playing out under the denier radar, and inevitably creating bigger dysfunctions and harder fall down the track. So you're basically like you're having bad behaviors, you know, you're mistreating people or you're mistreating yourself, and you don't even notice it because you're so, let's say there's like a dark cloud in front of your eyes and you can see it, you can see nothing from it. And then because everything is so dark and everything is messed up in your mind, you don't even notice like the things that you're doing. So you're creating a big snowball of problems, and I used to say it on other videos too. You create like a big snowball of problems, and then when you actually find yourself, like the next thing you know, you created a really huge circle of madness and anger and you know, like unsolved problems and all kind of stuff. And that's basically it. We got to see our dysfunctional behaviors. And then he says right here, until the bubble bursts, you cleverly delude yourself into thinking everything is great when it's not. And your life ends up being built on a big fat lie and a false foundation. So you creating a false foundation onto the point where you're thinking that everything is fine and everything is great. I'm sorry, but it's not, because you're actually being toxic, or to people or to yourself. You're mistreating people, like I said. You're not acting in a way that's actually a good way, and then you're starting to lose yourself. Like you're acting in ways that you never acted before, and you're not even realizing it. And this is like, that's one of the things I did so many things, and on like relationships and friendships, and even with myself, because sometimes you put a whole lot of pressure on yourself and you treat yourself bad. Like you mistreat yourself because you're always putting pressure onto you, and then you start putting yourself down, and then unconsciously you put other people down too. You know, there's like context to it, but basically that's the idea, which I want to tell you, all right? Yeah. So that was point 2. This is going to be a little longer than I thought, but it doesn't matter, man. We're here to learn and evolve. Okay, so number three, gaining fresh perspective. Let's go. Hitting rock bottom is the beginning of questioning everything that you've ever thought to be true, all right? You question your motives, other people's motives, your beliefs, your fears, why you did things, why you didn't do things, why you attracted certain people and circumstances, why you succeeded, why you failed. The very fabric of your life is turned upside down and examined in a raw detail. It's from this point that you build again from the ground up with a fresh perspective based on a renewed sense of clarity. I'm sorry. Man, I'm so bad at reading. All right, but you guys got it. You know what I'm saying? This is so nice. So gaining fresh perspective. So from my personal experience, I am taking all this time to stop and actually breathe and think, like everything that worked, everything that didn't work, everything that succeeded, everything that didn't succeed, everything that, okay, what was the time when this happened, and why this happened. And then when you actually stop, you stop and you think. You gotta stop, relax, don't have all that craziness going on in your mind. And then when you actually stop and meditate and you think, okay, I can actually see from a clear vision, you know, it's like you take the zoom out because you're zooming in, but when you stop and think, you're zooming out so you can see the whole situation, and you can see that with more clarity to why certain things happened and why certain things didn't happen. And that actually allows you to grow when you see the problems and why it happened, and then you can work through them. So basically, the gaining fresh perspective tells about it. And he says, like, okay, why you attracted certain people and circumstances. Like sometimes you attracted things unconsciously because you're so crazy with your life and with your work and your relationship and everything that you don't even realize what's going on. And then you end up attracting things that are bad for you unconsciously. And then you put yourself even on a lower level that you didn't even have to. Okay, I'm stuttering so much, but yeah, this is hard for me, guys. Okay, English is not my native language and by no means, but you got it. Okay, and then he says, okay, the very fabric of your life is turned upside down and examined in a raw detail. That's exactly what I said. It's from this point that build again from the ground up, exactly from the ground up, with a fresh perspective based on your renewed sense of clarity. Okay, so make sure you see everything that you went through, and then you can actually have a clear vision to why things happen. So when you grow up from the situation, and when you get better, and in the future you can become like 10, 15, 20, 100 times, a million times better than you were. Okay, and this goes for everything. That could be relationship, that could be your business, that could be friendships, that could be you treating yourself better, you know, let's say in all sorts of ways, okay? All sorts of ways. All right, man, I'm talking so much. Number 4, self-awareness of bad habits and behaviors. And man, that shit gets me so hard because I was never self-aware of my behaviors. And I mean, I was sometimes here and there, but never truly really worried about it, you know? And even though I was worried about it, I was like, you know, I'll deal with that later because I gotta work, or I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And then, I don't know, man, things, like I said, things started infiltrating in your mind, and then when you get yourself caught into some really huge problem later, right? Let's see. So at the bottom, your disempowering patterns, oh my God, this is such impossible reading. Your disempowering patterns and behaviors become glaringly, shit, I can read it. Glaringly obvious, okay, I can't read it or whatever. And the triggers that kept you repeating those behavior patterns coming to sharp focus. So you realize that hitting rock bottom was not only inevitable, which in most cases are, but necessary, because those behaviors were simply not conducive to your growth. And sometimes you don't even do that because you want. Like you're just being responsive to the situation. And then on top of that, and perhaps most importantly, all the roles you've been playing pop into your conscious awareness. It becomes clear that all you've been. Wait, what? Okay, it becomes clear that you've been a kind of a puppet, playing the same role over and over and over again, creating the same dynamics over and over, and keeping the drama going again and again and again, like a well-paid actor in a soap opera. Okay, that shit is a joke. It's not until you break the mode and start the journey back to your true self that you stop playing those old stretched records and begin to create new conscious outcomes. Okay, so that was really hard for me to read, but you guys got the idea. So he says here that you're creating like the same dynamics, the same roles, like the same situations over and over and over and over and over again. Like you're beating yourself up, you're destroying yourself, and sometimes you're just reacting to circumstances. You're not even acting on it. Like, you're just reacting to what's going on. You don't even think. Sometimes you're not even thinking about what's going on. You're just reacting because you got accommodated, you got used to that thing. So you just keep repeating yourself, and you put yourself into that hole over and over again, and then the drama starts, and then you know, things they go on a bad way. And then he says, like, it's like a well-paid actor in a soap opera. So it's not until you break the mold, he says, and start your journey back to true yourself, and for you to stop playing these habits and performing it every day. So sometimes you have to hit rock bottom, and you would inevitably hit rock bottom if you kept those patterns over and over again, and that those things, they're gonna give you a new perspective of how you can change and how you can improve, so then you can never repeat these things again. And don't get me wrong, man, everybody fails. We all fail. I fail. You're gonna fail. It's fine. But the problem is not when you fail. The problem is repeating the same mistakes. And I say that even to myself, because I've done it a million times. I did it a whole lot of times in so many situations, you know? And we have to really try and learn to not make the same mistakes again, so we can grow from it, all right? Because there's no point in me making a fucking 30-minute video, and you watch it and you try to become better, but then when you actually put in practice, you don't work on it. So we have to really force ourselves into changing those patterns and behaviors, so then we can create better habits for our future. All right? I hope you got it. Oh, wow. Okay, let me just breathe a little bit. Shit, man. You know, it's so impossible for me to be doing these videos. It really tests my English, man. But let's go. Oh, shit. So number 5, trusting in life. You realize at the bottom that you were, in fact, not where you thought you were in life. You let your ego run the show with grandiose ideas about what you could do, not knowing you didn't yet have the foundation to successfully accomplish those things. Ego's death grip loosens when you come to realization. You start to trust life and choose to live in the moment more often. As you surrender to your higher self more and more, you align with your right purpose and the right life path, and it feels good. So in here, he's just telling you to trust in life. So you got to trust the process, to why you went through the things that you're going through, why you went through your breakup, why you lost your job, why you fell in a certain area of your life, and so on and so on. So then we have to try and trust in life. And it's hard. Sometimes I ask myself all the times to why certain things happens, and why it's allowed for us to, why this thing keeps on going. Okay, I got distracted by this message right here. But yeah, why certain things, they keep on adding to our lives, but then we gotta trust the process. So let's go. Number 6, humility, all right. So you gain humility. You see that life is not a black and white, and that you don't know everything. In fact, you realize you know very little, and you decide to become a student of life rather than a juror. So that shit, it pretty much explains itself. So again, most of us, we are so full of arrogance, it's fucking insane. People are like, okay, I know everything, I'm a big star, and this, that, but when reality is, we know nothing. I know nothing. I'm a big student, you are a big student, you know nothing, all right? You might know certain things in certain areas, but you definitely don't know everything. None of us know everything. It's impossible. We're constantly trying to thrive and evolving through our own path and our own choices of life and everything else. But that's why we gotta have humility. So always have that in mind. Humility, guys, is one of the key things to grow. You gotta look in yourself and put yourself in the right position. Like, don't put yourself on a pedestal. Don't think you're the greatest guy ever, because you're not, I'm not, we are not. And then by creating that humility, you can actually allow yourself to more lessons to get into your life, and then it opens space for growth, okay? All right. Number 7, compassion. You gain compassion. You understand what it's like for people in the depths of despair, shame, guilt, and fear. You can't help but come back from the bottom feeling immense empathy with the human condition. So key factor as well. We got to create compassion for others. So not just for us, but for other people as well, you know. And then try to put ourselves onto their shoes a little more. Try to put ourselves onto other people's shoes so we can understand more their pain, and then we can actually create a true empathy with their story and how they're coping with their problems in life. So then we can try to figure out a little bit more of how they feel that way, how they act a certain way, and how they live that way. You know what I'm saying? And then we can understand a little more each other. So this is beautiful. All right, number 8, letting go. You're able to let go of everything because nothing is working anyway. Letting go of the old creates space for the new, and soon, new ideas, people, opportunities, talents, and gifts start to flood into your experience. As you empty your cup, so to speak, you fill it back up with stuff that actually won, instead of accepting what was unconsciously passed onto you. Life hands you with a fresh cup of reality. So again, we're letting go of the past, we're letting go of our mistakes, and okay, we're gonna take those mistakes from the past, and we're gonna empty our cup, so then we can put ourselves new things in the cup with new circumstances, opportunities, and people, and so that way we can create a better version of ourselves in this new cycle of our lives. Okay, basically that's it. Number 9. Taking responsibility, and this one is great. I think this is the most important thing in this topic, in this website that I saw. Taking responsibility, man. All right, let's go. After you hit the bricks, you, perhaps for the first time, begin to accept full responsibility for all the outcomes in your life. You see that blaming is futile. Futile, is that how to say it? I forgot. It's F-U-T-I-L-E. I'm not sure if that's how you say that, but you got it. You see that blaming is futile, I don't know. That complaining is dumb, and that making excuses is unenlightened. You realize it was you who created all the good and all the bad in your life. You dug the hole in which you trapped, and only you can dig yourself out of it in order to finally become whole, and with a W this time, you know. But yeah, you got it. So taking responsibility. We as human beings, we have to take responsibilities for our lives, all right? And I don't agree with everything that he said right here about you created the hole that you're in right now, because sometimes I don't think you create it. Sometimes life puts you in this position, whether it's the contact that you're going through, and then it helps you get deeper into that. But most of the times, we do take shitty decisions and shitty responsibilities, and then we put ourselves into that hole, and then it's our responsibility to get out of it. Like, it's not our responsibility to have somebody else to take ourselves from that hole. It's our responsibility to take ourselves from that hole. Our responsibility. So if you put yourself in there, okay, you gotta look at everything that's not working, and it's your job. It's your job to heal. It's your job to get better. It's your job to become the person that you want, and then take responsibility for everything that's going on in your life, so then you can grow from that. All right. And again, even if it, not all the times you're gonna be fully responsible, because sometimes life is just unfair. The truth of it is that life is just unfair. Sometimes life is gonna throw some really heavy rocks in you, and then you're not gonna be able to stand it up or hold on to that, and sometimes you're gonna fall, you know. But still, keep on fighting, because chances are if you always take responsibility, you have a higher chance of becoming happier in the future. Okay, so number 10, the only way is up. The good news is, once you've hit rock bottom, you know you can't possibly go any lower. You realize the rock bottom is actually a great springboard from which you push yourself up to the surface, away from the darkness, and back into the light. So again, take yourself from the dark and put him back into the light so you can become the person that you want to be, which is, we were all aiming to be happy, excited, carefree, enjoying each other, helping people out there, growing people, helping people out there with depression, anxiety. That's all you want to do. All right? All right. So number 11, trusting yourself. Hitting rock bottom wakes you up to how you were relying on externals to make you happy. And this is so important. Instead of needing outside validation, which most people do, you begin to trust yourself and start the journey within to find your own sense of self, your own sense of purpose, and your own validation. Fantastic. This new inner sanctuary becomes the foundation for your happy and meaningful new life. All right. So again, in this topic, it talks about self-love, the importance about self-love. You don't need external validations, and I say that, I agree with that 100%. You don't need external validations for you to be happy. You don't need to rely your happiness on somebody else or some circumstance. You can be happy within yourself as long as you hear yourself first and you take care of your issues, your bad behaviors, your problems, your anxiety, your insecurities, your problems. Then you will allow yourself to be okay on the internal, so then the external will be just an amplifier. It's just gonna amplify who you are on the inside, So I agree with that 100%, and I think this is a really good topic. But yeah, okay. Last but not least, this one's important as well too. So important. Gratitude. Practice gratitude, and that goes for me too, because most of the times I'm always complaining, but we have to be more grateful. Okay, number 12. And finally, after hitting your lowest point, you become enormously grateful for all that you have from that time forward. You're sure that the circumstances and the situation can only get better from here, and it goes, because you actually hit it, you hit the lowest point. Simple things, a smile of a stranger, fresh food on the fridge, warm clothes on your body, and a comfy bed, your good health, become things to treasure. And it's really, really true. Your existence is a constant prayer of gratitude to the universe and to yourself for having the courage to move beyond hard times and choose life when you could have chosen a number of other options just to make your pain go away, like using drugs or doing other bad things or whatever. Okay, the gems mined into your darkest moments, and what you give your depth, courage, wisdom, and richness that can't be learned elsewhere. Your ability to fly is in direct proportion to your willingness and courage to face your version of rock bottom. If you've ever been there and bounced back to tell the story, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's right. Okay, so last phrase right here. If you're currently sitting on rock bottom and still chafing your behind, I don't know that word, but yeah, you're probably cursing this post. But as someone who's been there, the person that wrote it, done that, and got the t-shirt, I can tell that in years to come, you will appreciate the experience and the chafing as the best thing that ever happened to you. Only once you're willing to explore your darkest depths, you can truly be of service in the world. Only when the old foundations crumble can you begin to build again on new and solid ground. This is the gift of rock bottom. Aim for it. So that is it. That was the whole post. And it's I really applaud what he's saying here. like credits to this person, like give all the credits to this person for using on a video. And we have a lot to reflect on it. And I would, if I was you, if I'm going through, like if you're going through depression and then heartbreaks and stuff like this, I would really highly suggest that you actually write down on a paper all these 12 topics, and you can actually reflect later on your life when you go to sleep, when you wake up, when you have some spare time to reflect, like look inside of you and try to really understand who you are. Like forget about other people. Think about who you are as a person and how you can become better and how you can use all these tools to grow. And don't get me wrong, these things, they don't happen overnight. Like I'm not gonna heal myself overnight because I'm still in depression and anxiety and I'm fucked up, all these kinds of things. And I'm open about it. I'm not here to hide nothing. And I think it's beautiful that we show who we are, because this internet shit, Instagram, YouTube, it only shows the fake reality of the world. People are happy and they only show their good side, their good side, when the reality is most of these people that only show their good side of their lives, they are at the lowest point ever, but they don't have the courage to show that. They don't have the courage to cry. They don't have the courage to say, hey, I had a shitty day, I'm not doing good. My relationship failed, I am not happy, like my life is miserable, all that kind of stuff. So it allows us to be human, which is beautiful. So yeah, I hope this video helped in a certain way. If you need anything, if you want some other topic, if you want some advice, if you want me to talk about something else, just hit me up, comment down below. I will be doing videos of my own journey, my own experience, and I also want to help you guys out there a lot with this mental illness, because we know that depression and anxiety can kill us, and I don't want this from you guys. I want you guys to really live the best version of your lives. I want you guys to really kill it and make all of your dreams come true and all sorts of things, okay? So yeah, I hope you guys liked it. Appreciate you if you watched it through the end, and we will catch up in the next video. So yeah, bye bye guys, peace.